NBA expansion could be coming. It could be coming hopefully sooner than later, but still, let's not jump the gun here. Or New York media jokes, jumped the boat. Get it? Because the Giants. So Mexico City is becoming more and more of a place that is entering the landscape of being an NBA expansion. For one, we know unless a team were to relocate there, they'd have to add 2 teams if they wanted to put a new team in Mexico City. Can't have an odd number of teams, so it'd have to expand to 32, which would mean even more expansion. Awesome. 25 years they've been playing in Mexico City. Not every year, but they've played, I think, 24 total games. They had 2 this year. It was overwhelmingly successful. And considering it's the place that they've played the most NBA games, as Adam Silver put it, save for here and Canada.
Get it. And Toronto seems to have worked out pretty good.
Yeah, adding another team I actually think adding another team in Canada wouldn't be a bad idea.
I don't think
Montreal,
it would be either. Another team in
bring
LA?
Vancouver
Oh, wait.
back? No, we don't need that.
I was joking.
All right, Francis, first, quickly quotes, and then why you're going to become part of the Mexico City Rangers.
I'm in.
In terms of a franchise in Mexico, it's a lot. It's a lot. This is a competitive market, 20 million people. I'm paraphrasing for all of you. Clearly coming to Mexico City just because of the huge population here in Mexico, but in essence is a gateway to the rest of Latin America, potentially be very important to the league, and a beautiful state-of-the-art arena would be great. And they continue to say, I think the next step before we start talking about a franchise in Mexico City is to bring more games here. And then he hinted, possibly, maybe like a mid-season tournament. Okay.
I like that.
Okay.
We've talked about this.
I'm down. What kind of tournament?
So this is a little off the cusp of what I was expecting to talk about it, but the more you just read that J.K. Rowling of a quote there, I was just thinking, like, this is expansion that is, as we like to put it, good expansion. And then there's bad expansion. There's an expansion where technically it's called expansion when you take a team from a 56-year-old fan base and move them to Los Angeles just solely for a money-grabbing, disgusting move. You imbecile! Or there's an expansion where you're taking it to a place that could easily help that economy grow. You can bring more jobs in there. You can grow the game. You can attract a different audience. You can attract more fans. Like, I think that that's an expansion that I'm always going to be on board with because it's a little bit more inclusive and it's going to take it to a new audience, right? And it's kind of counterintuitive to what I talked about with the World Cup. I'm not going to get into FIFA and all that garbage. So this is a refreshing discussion that we can have, but unfortunately, this is a subject that does cross over where we have to have a political conversation. How does that possibly go in tune with a Donald Trump presidency? Where he is...
NBA is privately owned. Technically... It's not private. Actually, it's not privately owned. It's publicly owned. But no, it's not publicly owned either.
It doesn't. Okay.
All the leagues are considered not-for-profit, which is like the most hilarious thing in the history of not-for-profit industries. It's like the Foundation for Cystic Fibrosis and like other cancer research, right, is the same category.
It's the same as FIFA with $3 billion.
Of course, it would pose a problem. However. I was about to say the president-elect is going to pick and choose his battles, but am I effing
This
crazy?
is an exact battle that he would like to pick.
Crazy. This is the one he'd love to pick at this.
Because it's a celebrity kind of like fueled battle that he'd be able to sink his teeth into.
Do you think Adam Silver is trolling Trump by saying we might expand to Mexico City because, you know, all the jobs we got to bring back to America? This would create
more
jobs for
there.
both. It would create jobs for both because you'd be working for the NBA, which is an American-based company.
But I think it's creating a connection between two countries where you can share a same love for a sport. It has worked so well with Toronto. That audience, that fan base, there is nothing more electric than a home game for the Raptors. It's a phenomenal. It's a team that they sell out their stadium every single night. Or they sell out their arena every night. Right?
Yes.
So I'm not saying that the same thing's going to happen in Mexico City, but I mean, the way things go in this world with so many things that divide us, sports at times is something that unites us. So why not look to something in taking a team to Mexico, which I think would create a huge audience, a huge fan base. But unfortunately, I don't like to cross over everything to politics. I would rather, when I come on sports, I do politics on other channels. You can see that on Facebook. But when I come to sports, I like to talk about sports.
Plug. Go on.
Shameless plug. But the thing about Donald Trump is this, you're exactly right. It's a very typical example, which he would like to get involved in.
It's funny because like most president-elects and future presidents wouldn't give two craps what the NBA does. Unless they were like, we're going to take the Washington Wizards out of D.C. They'd be, can't do that.
Donald Duck become president.
Don't take our Wizards. No, most wouldn't care. They wouldn't pick and choose, but because of the celebrity status of the NBA, and not just the NBA, I mean any sports league, say for like hockey in this country. Sorry, Michael Schur. He'd pick that battle. He would purposely go after that. But until it becomes a reality, first of all, my actual feeling is there wouldn't be expansion for 2 years at minimum.
Mm-hmm.
So there'll be rumblings about it, and there should be, because the NBA is at a point where they can expand. I would hope, though, maybe one in Mexico City and hopefully Seattle or Vancouver or places where they had.
Don't say it out loud. For Seattle fans, we know that that's something that something they deserve, but it's something that is still very much so a sore spot.
The tweet from Trump would be, NBA trying to put jobs in Mexico. Sad, very unfair to American employees. Sad, unfair.
We could use another team in LA or New York or anywhere else that's already grown. But I don't know. I quite like this idea. I would look forward to rooting for a team that's
Mexico
from
City would be a
Mexico
fun
City.
place. It's been an experiment that has worked very well for the last few years. They love
But you
the
wanna
games
cause-
there. They also had games in London. I think we should have an all-star game in London.
That's a good idea.
I really do.
Something that doesn't have as much importance, because I do think
Mostly
the time traveling and all that thing has a
the
huge role.
European fan base
Is growing.
definitely knows more about voting for all-stars than anybody in this country, because they won't vote Zaza Pachulia into the fucking all-star.
Because we don't have all-stars, so I think they when they see all-star, they're going to expect it to be the best players in the league, but they would also be expecting to see the celebrities as well, that sometimes aren't always the best.
Zaza Pachulia to expand London basketball.
All right, we digress, but hit us in the comments. Mexico City, NBA team, NBA expansion.
The Jaguars have already moved. They're already there. The London Jaguars.
Oh.
Do you have any Jaguars in London?
I think people just go for the game. I don't think they have any clue who the team is.
They go, oh my God, yes, Blake Bortles.
They-
Yes, they get so pumped. They go,
I can just see
they have
Bortles-
chants about them.
Bortles shirts are selling out as much as Paye's shirt is selling out right now, which we're going to get to.
Teaser.
Teaser for the next clip whenever it goes up.